Hi and welcome back to another video of jPlay. I am Marcus and today I'm starting my solo playthrough of Friedemann Friese's Faiyum. Really a game I was looking forward to for quite some time, and luckily I finally got hold of a copy. I think it was really, not really out of print, but was hard to get here around here, so it has taken me some time to get myself a copy, but luckily it arrived. I played it a couple of times in multiplayer mode. I'm still far from being an expert, but nevertheless I want to look into the solo mode today, which pretty much comes in two flavors. You can basically play it and beat your own score, or you can go through some sort of a campaign which is called the Challenge of the Pharaoh, which then comes with a series of goals that you pretty much have to complete. So your very first goal is to gain at least 150 reputation. That's the start of the campaign. That's really the very first goal before you can prove worthy to dig any deeper into the remaining goals here. And then you also get some achievements. So let's say I successfully beat this first goal here, I can pretty much choose one. No, I think it's not choose. I think I have to start from top to bottom actually. So my first would be the game preparation. Instead of 4, you would start the game with $10, which is already pretty good because in the solo mode you only start with $4, which is already and it's not really great. Let me show you this one here. And this whole challenge thing really reminds me of Mercado de Lisboa, or the solo mode from Mercado de Lisboa, which also comes with this little campaign which you have to beat through. It's not really an AI, and really there is no one competing with you here other than yourself. But there's also pretty much no bookkeeping whatsoever. You simply play it. I would be a bit underwhelmed if this would be really simply beat your own score. But again, with those goals here, I think that's really quite interesting. And as you know, I'm really a big fan of easy to follow AIs rather than having, let's say, too sophisticated kind of workflows to work through. Can be fun too. It really depends a little bit on the game. And yeah, you are definitely missing out on a lot of the, let's say, player interaction. With really this game absolutely shines because nothing that you're building here on the board belongs to yourself. Whatever you're placing there, all the other players can use it too. And this is really where some of very cool scenarios are appearing, and I really like this a lot. But I think without further ado, we will get started. Again, the game plays pretty much the same way like it would in a normal multiplayer fashion. The only difference is in respect to the administration step. Basically, one of your actions that you can take throughout the game works slightly different than in a multiplayer game, but apart from that, it's really the same game. So if you want to learn the game, then you can definitely do so, at least for the most part, by simply watching this solo mode, and then you should be also able to get a very good idea on how the multiplayer mode could work. But there are really a ton of great playthroughs out there already who are really playing this game in a multiplayer fashion. And yeah, so I think let's get started. Again, I will, or as usual, I will explain everything as I go. This is our starting hand of cards. Each of the players will start with the same set of cards, and also really great shout out to Friedemann Friese and to F-Spiele here that they're really doing these games pretty much language independent already as they are, but even the little text that is on those components, they have it in English and in German in this case. Really nicely done. So our English rules, everything is in there, so I don't have to translate anything on the fly. I can simply rely on those components here. So we have basically 3 farmers, we have these 2 roads cards, we have the settlement cards, and on top of this is the starting markets. And similar to power, what is this? It's Funkenschlag in German. Why can't I think of the English name now? Power Grid, I think. Yeah, it's the English name of the game. Basically, we have an active market. Those are the 4 cards here. In the also, let's say, a slight deviation from the multiplayer goal, we are not playing with any of those discount tokens here. And this could be the future market, but again, it could be the future market because all of those cards come with a unique number. Whenever a card gets acquired or leaving the game for any reason, we are refilling the market, and then yeah, we are pretty much still restocking the market pretty much in an ascending order. So it could mean that a lot of things are not changing at all, or things are getting mixed up, so which is why you have to be careful. But again, that's similar to Power Grid, where you might get a cool power plant out there, but if whatever smaller numbers keep showing up, then those cool cats will not go up to the space where you will be able to acquire them. Actually, that's really something which I also quite like a lot in this game here too. Quick mention of when the game is actually ending, we have 2 piles of cards. This is the standard pile, these are only blue cards, and this is, let's say, a special tile where we see 4 of those catastrophes that will show up. And as soon as this area here is completely occupied by those catastrophes, then this will trigger the end of the game. At that point in time, we will no longer be able to do an administration step. We can still play cards and buy cards and whatnot and do stuff, but we will no longer take our cards back. Also a very cool mechanic in this game. And there are also some, I think some of the blue cards are in here. It's a special setup that you're doing. Not really complicated, but some things some steps you have to follow. And yeah, this will then trigger the end of the game. So we have to go through this pile of deck. It's really a lot of cards. And then we also maybe not entirely go through this deck, but definitely the top 4 of those. But most likely will be a little bit more than that. And again, this will then trigger the end of the game. And as mentioned, as for this first scenario, we are trying to make it around this score trick here. I think it's influence 3 times, reaching 150 points. There's no end game scoring in this game. Whatever you have by that point in time when the game ends is what you have. So you can already see if you are successful or not. And really don't count on me in any way. I'm pretty sure, yes, I didn't do bad in my first steps here, but I think I barely reached 100 points back then. Not even, I think it was maybe in that area here you typically. So I really don't know how things, of course the competition is slower, so I can really target my cards much better, but it also means I have to know the cards. And this is, I think, where the game has really a relatively steep learning curve in respect to understanding the synergies between a lot of these cards here. But again, something that I really enjoy a lot. Okay, let's get started then. Let's have a look at the cards. We have the supplier, we have the marketer, we have the expansion, which we cannot use right now, and we have the assistant. So basically those 2 cards, we cannot use them because we haven't built any of those, what are those called? I think construction buildings of some sort, or basically something like that. And we cannot extend one of those because we haven't built those yet. And the same is true here. We cannot place one of the assistants into those buildings yet. So that's definitely a bummer. This one here, maybe we could use the marketer. The same is true for the supplier because we start the game with 1 settlement out there already. But I think that might not be our immediate thing to do. We will do it sooner or later anyway, so I guess we will start playing one of those farmers here. Those farmers, they show this little crocodile here, so I'm pretty sure you should be able to see that, which means I can place those farmers onto a space which is still, I think, swarmed or so, and they have crocodiles on there, so we can safely place it. A lot of those other cards, like those one here, they don't have crocodiles here, so we cannot place a settlement onto a space where there is still a crocodile, so we have to use a farmer first. And typically you also need to place a farmer adjacent to another farmer because there are no farmers yet on the board. The first one is always okay. You can basically place them anywhere. Needs to be still an undeveloped space though. And so yeah, I think we will simply start with it. We will place it on top of our discard pile, which is pretty much next to our little player at here, which is not particularly helpful, but it's okay because there's not a lot of actions that you can take anyway. So this tells you that you can substitute 1 resource with $3 and that you can play any card on top of your discard pile for $2. And as mentioned, we are starting the game with 4 here. And so yeah, we are basically using this card now, so I could play it just to get the $2, and I'm pretty sure I might need to do that sooner or later. But right now, let's get some resources. And as mentioned, in theory, I would have to place a farmer next to another farmer, or next to another meeple at least. It needs to be really next to a meeple. We can't do that, so we can pretty much safely place them anyway. And I think we will go in here because this gives us basically access to both wheat, grapes and stone. In a normal multiplayer game, I would be a little bit more careful not to basically place to give the other players the opportunity to start misusing my, or not really my, but the meeples I'm placing, but I'm playing alone, so no one is misusing them. So I will place the farmer in here. Because I cleared this space of a crocodile, this really leaves the game. I will get my first dollar for it. It's a reward. And yes, the currency in this game is actually dollars. So we have gained some dollars here. That's a good thing about those crocodiles. But because that's what the card is telling me, I pretty much gain the resource, yeah, that is tied to the space I'm placing it on. In this case, that's a grape, and I really like those components in this game. The crocodiles are adorable, and all the other components also are very, very nice, and sometimes they're just functional, but everything works really, really well. Very, very cool production quality. And that was already our first action. So we are moving back to our cards. In theory, again, I could go for a settlement. In theory, maybe. No, that's still okay, I guess. That's still okay. Let's go with another farmer. We will place it here. Again, we will not use it to gain some dollars. And now I'm already starting to regret to place this meeple here, because with my 2 roads, I might not be as efficient as I would like to be. But okay, that's it. I will not take it back here. Again, I want to show you the game. I don't want to play it well, as usual, as you know. So again, we have played another farmer. So now the next farmer needs to go adjacent to one of the other workers here on the board. And it's either now going for some grain or for some stone, or we could still go in here. Yeah, I think we want it all right now, because we want to be able to place a settlement as soon as possible, right? On the other hand, maybe we don't need to. I think maybe I should have read the market a little bit better, actually. But I think getting money is never a bad thing. So let's simply place it here. Again, we are taking $1 for removing that crocodile, and we are getting 1 grain resource for this one here. And again, that was our action. And now I guess it's really getting time. We are buying. This supplier is actually quite nice. I really didn't see it well. That's when I keep talking too much and whatever, getting distracted. So this is really a great card, actually. So we are going to spend $3 on this. That's the price for this card. Again, there are no discount marked. In multiplayer game, all those starting cards would have a -1 token on those. Fortunately, that's not the case here, but that's okay. We are getting this card right into our hand, so we can use it right off the bat with our next action. But of course, we have to replenish first. So we are drawing the next card. It's the number 98, which means a lot of these things are definitely moving down. Oh, basically it goes all the way to the right here. And the new card that showed up was the fisher here. We have to place the fisher next to another meeple, and needs to go either next to the sea or to the canal. And in this case, we could gain 3 fish. Fish is a little bit of, let's say, odd resource, or nothing that you use all the way, but typically there are cards that require you to spend any amount of resources or different resources. Then fish definitely comes in handy. So it's definitely also not a bad card, but definitely not for that price. So 7 is definitely relatively high. So we are moving into our next action already. Should we go for another farmer first before we are going to place the supply? Because the order in which you are playing those cards really does matter, because whenever you take an administration action, you will only be allowed to take the top 3 cards from your discard pile for free. You can still spend money for additional cards. In the normal multiplayer version of the game, that's $1 per card. In this solo version, it's 1 for the first, 2 for the second, 3 for the third, and so on. This can be really prohibitively expensive. So I think it's even more important to play those cards in the right order, which is the reason why I really think we should play the farmer here first, because at some point in time you really don't want to get involved with your starting cards anymore. But you can also not completely get rid of those, because you need those in order to remove the crocodiles. So there are really a lot of things to consider, but I think in this case it's still the best bet. So yeah, let's play the farmer. Again, it needs to go adjacent to one of our other workers here. Question is now, do I want dollars and go for another crocodile space, or do I really want stone and deny myself $1 here? But I think in this case we have the supplier, so we can get stone. Yeah, we can get stone another way. So I guess it might be safe. Let's go for this space here. So we get $1 for that, because again, we cleaned this space, so no more crocodiles here. Adorable one, I mean, look at those. And we also get some grapes from that space, from that farmer. Yeah, yet again, that was our action. Well, the game really can move incredibly fast. And I guess now it's either, I think before we go for the settlement, yeah, we need stone, obviously. Because in order to build a new settlement, as you can see here, we need basically one of the three resources here, the grain, grapes, and stone. So that's the last one here. And this gives us dollars and gives us victory points. And yeah, we need victory points, 150 of those. But again, before we are allowed to do that, we need to play the supplier now. Again, he goes on top of our discard pile, and this allows us to place a meeple onto a space with the settlement. There must not be any other meeples on that, but apart from that, it's totally okay. And because we have Blade the worker here, we get pretty much 2 resources what we want. Unfortunately not roses. Roses are wild in this case, but we can go for grapes, stone, fish, you name it. And I think we would definitely want some more stone, so we will simply go for 2 stones in this case. And this gives us at least some resources to go for another settlement, which could be important. So yeah, let's do that next. And I guess we want to place maybe the settlement in here. There are not a lot of rules for settlements. Again, they cannot go to undeveloped spaces like this crocodile spaces. And there must be at least 2 spaces away from any other settlement. So let's say a settlement would be here. I could not place another settlement here. But this is perfectly fine. And we want them in the vicinities of those building sites here where we can build pyramids, as you can see. Maybe if the card shows up, I might be able to show that to you. And we couldn't place mummies there and sacrifices, a lot of terrible stuff. And yeah, I think so. Let's do it like this. So we are playing this card. We have to get rid of 1, 1, and 1 resources respectively. I put them back, and this allows us to place a settlement in here. Nice. So first of all, I really need to get some more money here, and usually I'm not playing with the original money here. I'm usually using some coins or poker chips, but for this playthrough that's fine. I want to showcase the game as it is. So that's $3, but what's also important, it's our first 1, 2, 3 victory, or I think influence points in that case. Still, the card goes on top of our discard pile, but I think right now that's still okay. We have some good amount of dollars, and I think next we may want to go to another, or our first administration step. First of all, we get some income, which says we get $3 as a base price minus the amount of cards still in our hand. Right now we are at 1 card, which means we are getting 2 more dollars here. Then, as in the multiplayer game, we can remove up to 2 meeples from the board, and for every meeple we are getting 1 extra buck. And for now, I think I can safely remove those 2. Yeah, let's do it like this, and therefore we just got 2 more dollars. Typically, you really want that easy money as soon as possible, but sometimes you really want to make sure, because of a lot of those farmers, or you need some adjacency, you might end up in a situation where you really need at least 1 worker on the board in a crucial spot, for example. So let's say I want to get rid of some of those more crocodiles here, and there's only a meeple somewhere completely else. Then in this case, I still want this guy to be around. And yeah, that's basically what's driving my decision. Next, I get some cards back. So the first 3 cards are pretty much free. So I will simply put it back into my hand without having to pay anything. And then I can again pay for additional cards. First card costs 1, second card costs 2, and so on. But again, that's something very specific to the solo rules of the game. And for now, I think I may want to, yeah, let's go for at least 1 more farmer, but only 1 farmer in this case. So we are also buying this guy here back, and I guess because we have the supplier, I think it might be okay leaving this farmer. But at a later point in time, we can still reconsider things, and if I want to, I could go for another administration action right away and then pretty much go through the same hoops, and then I could gain this card back for free anyway. Of course, I might be losing out on some of the cards, but that's perfectly legal to do so. But there is 1 last step to do as part of this administration step, and that's to remove any 2 of those available cards here in the current market. And this is also different to the multiplayer game. Typically, it's the 2 lowest cards that are getting removed, or if there are discount tokens on them, it's those cards and whatever. Though it works slightly different. In this case, I really get to choose what to remove. And quite honestly, I don't really like that Fisher here. For whatever reason, I don't really need him right now. This is really driving the game. Otherwise, I could really camp forever and making point. In this case, I really have to remove those 2 cards just to progress the game. And ooh, these are 2 basically working. Here I could also buy. I think this is also a great card, the Marketer, because it gives me some freedom in respect to the resources I'm going to buy. But that's also great. This gives me points. Are you kidding me? But this is really, they both take some time. But do I want points or do I want the resource? I think here I already get the resources. I think let's get rid of the assistant for now. Again, don't ask me why, but just a feeling. We are bringing out 2 more cards, so that's the order. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty, I think I can buy back cards if I do remember this. I think so. And here we have the senior farmer. Okay, he's coming out relatively early. That's great. And again, we are shifting things so that they stay in the relative order. So that's a 10, 30, 52, 54. So the market had just got more expensive, but then this nice fella came up, the senior farmer here, which simply works similarly to the normal farm, but gives me 2 resources. And having this guy early on in the game is definitely not the worst thing in the world. I think that's not too bad at all, because I think so. I think we will go for the senior farmer right now. So we will spend 3 of our dollars here. We will take this into our hand. We will replenish right away, and that's the 108. So everything will slide down here. But this also means this wheat trader just became available. Also a very great card. So whenever I'm placing a meeple to an unoccupied settlement, anyone, I simply gain 3 grain. And wow, that's also great, but it costs 7. So I think that's something I don't want to spend just yet. So I guess in this case I think so. Yeah, I think we will use our normal farmer first, because again, the order of things really does matter. So you really should feel the urge to say, oh, let's use the cool new cards right away. But sometimes that's a mistake. And I think in this case, that might be really a mistake. So I guess we are simply going for a standard farmer here. Let's go for some more dollars and simply make this one here available. This gives us $1 for the croc, and we also gain another grape, which is never a bad thing. This goes on top of our discard pile, and I think we will simply continue on and we'll play the next farmer here, and we'll go for, I guess, let's go for this one. Let's go for this one. But it's still another grape. Should we go for some? I think we should also go for some stone. Yeah, why not? So we will place it here so we don't get any dollars. There is not a crocodile, but we get the stone. That's still good enough. And I guess now it's the time to start using our senior farmer. Again, it needs to go adjacent to an existing meeple. Developed or not, doesn't matter where this meeple is, just needs a meeple adjacent. That's the reason why I left this guy here, because I could still do stuff on this space here, on this area of Faiyum, the Faiyum. So we are placing this senior farmer onto this space. Again, we are getting the $1. And because he is experienced, he knows his ways, we are getting 2 grain for that, and I think that's pretty cool actually. I think that worked out okay. So this goes on top of our discard pile, and again now he's on top. So it's very likely we are getting this card back for free, which was the ultimate plan, which is why I played those farmers, the standard farmers, earlier than this. And I guess now it might be a good time to maybe play the 2 roads card here, which tells you have to build 2 roads, but it's really 2 roads. It's not 1 road, it's not 3 roads, it's 2 roads. And yeah, I think that's also the main reason why I decided to get rid of this one here. Of course, I could do it other way, but I think let's do it like this. So in order to build 2 roads, we have to spend basically 2 resources, so 1 for each road, and you have to spend the resources that are matching the resource spaces you're building into. So in this case, let's say I want to really build those 2 roads here. In this case, it's easy. It's simply 2 wheat, because wheat is the only space around. If I would place a road into this space, which I can't do because there is still a crocodile here, but still, let's say the crocodile wouldn't be here, then I could choose if that's a grape or if that's a grain. But in this case, I placed this legally. This immediately gives me 3 points, 1, 2, 3, storming up to 6, hooray. But because I also made a direct connection between a building or construction site and the settlement for the first time, and only the direct connections count, I get a bonus point for that, which means I'm storming to 7 points already. And again, this card goes on top of our discard pile. We are down to 2 cards in our hand, so we are coming closer to a potential administration action. Of course, we could still buy cards, and I really should look at those cards. Yeah, maybe. What does this order do exactly? And there is a great glossary that comes, basically a complete book here, which explains all of those cards here. Really, really great. But no, this is even cooler. The order allows you to place up to 3 cards to the bottom of your discard pile. It's pretty much similar to really removing that from the game, and you're getting $2 for each card that you're burying this way. So if I get the farmers, for example, and I really want to get rid of those, or maybe later on I get a card which I don't want to see anymore, I could really use this card to gain me some dollars. Can be a little bit special, but typically it's kind of a lightweight deck builder here. So really getting card control is sometimes crucial. But again, the marketer here can also be very, very powerful, because she also allows you to gain some resource. It's not too different from my supplier here, but I can gain up to 3 resources, but I also have to pay. The supplier is free, and I think there's another supplier which gives me 3 resources even. So maybe that's really not my strongest card now. So I guess the order could be nice, but right now I'm not yet willing to spend $4 on that, because right now I don't really have a hell of a lot of cards. So maybe I really should play my, let's simply play the supplier. Goes on top of my discard pile. The only space I could place this, what is it? The supplier is next to this, because this is already taken. And I get to choose 2 resources, and I think I have 2 of everything else. So let's go simply for 2 more grain in this case, because this might come in handy sooner or later too. Now we are back to 1 card, but we have the settlement and we have the resources for the settlement. So maybe we should play it right away. Yeah, absolutely. We will do that. And I guess we want to extend here, because you really want later on some network here, because there are some cool cards like the Pharaoh, for example, wants to have connected cities and settlements, for example. So yeah, later on you can even upgrade. We have the card here, the town card here, which allows you to upgrade a settlement to a city, or to a town in this case. So yeah, this might work. I think, let's do that. So we are building another settlement. So again, that's a 1, 1, and 1. There's also a more efficient settlement in the deck somewhere. Hopefully it comes out sooner or later. Again, it cannot go in here, here, or here, because it needs to be at least 2 spaces away from an existing settlement. So I guess we are, we could also go on the other side, because there are also cool cards that give you nice flexibilities when it comes down to having cities or settlement next to the canal. So yeah, let's also think about that. So I guess I rather want to place the settlement here, because this would still allow me to place some roads, and a bridge counts basically like a road. And this is a starting bridge. This is, I think, what's it called? I can't remember, but it's basically here at the start of, since the start of the game. So yeah, I think let's place it here. Again, we are getting, I think it's $3. Yes, I take those. But we are also gaining 3 more victory points. Hooray, already at 10. Okay, 1/15 through the game. Easy. And now we are really out of cards, so unless we are willing to spend some dollars on those cards here, I think we have to go through another administration. And again, this is not bad, but I think we could push it maybe down a little bit, but let's not do this. I think let's go for another administration. Again, we don't have any cards in our hand, which means we're getting $3. So I'm getting 3 and 5, giving 2 back. We can still remove some meeples. And I guess in this case, we're getting rid of... I really want those guys here, but let's take at least one of the settlement for sure. And maybe this one here. I cannot tell you exactly why I'm doing this right now. And typically it's also more important when you're playing with more than one player, because you really have to read the other player's hands. So sometimes you really want to make sure that those spaces stay blocked, because you know they have those cool cards which give them cool resources. When they're occupied, they can no longer send someone in there. So we're getting basically $2 back. So I could simply have gotten myself a 5. And of course, last but not least, we get the top 3 cards back for free. I mean, that's never a bad thing. I don't know how to order those. And I'm pretty sure I will spend $1 for the senior farmer here, because again, he helps me getting rid of some of the crocodiles and getting me some resources relatively efficiently. But do I want more farmers right now? That's the question, because the next card would be already 2, and that's definitely getting expensive. Yes, it might seem we have a hell lot of money, but sooner or later I really might be inclined to getting for a card that costs 7, because that's exactly the card I need at that point in time. So I'm not sure if I should spend this, because we have 2 cards right now which give us some resources, but maybe one more. I mean, these are 4 resources we could get. 1 farmer for $2? Yeah, no, I think not. Let's stick to what we have. But of course, it was not the last step. I think I want to get rid of the order. That's the one. And now it's tough. They are really all great. This again could be a nice card getting resources, but again, it costs us money. This is a great, these are also 2. No, I think this is the better card. Let's get rid of this marketer here, unfortunately. So we are bringing out 2 more cards. That's the 48. For now, it stays in here. Okay, this is the pit. This allows us to build one of those spaces. So that's the perfect combination here. Awesome. What we need, we have the resources and it needs to be developed. So we have to start building some more roads. And this is also what's so important in a 2-player game. Sometimes you really want the other players to do stuff for you. And in this case, I'm on my own. So I have to take care of everything. And then we have the stonemason, 102, I think, also going more or less to the right of the board. And now we have the homestead, which slid down and works pretty much the same way like the pit, but on a grain resource space here. Wow, 3 victory points and 4 grain whenever we build one. But it needs to be a developed space, which means it has to be also connected to a road in this case. But that's the same for the pit, by the way. Okay, that's pretty okay. So I really like my choices there. So I think let's go through one final, let's say, turn or round, so until we are doing another administration. Then we will call it a day for now. So for now, should I go for... no. I was thinking of sending my senior farmer here, but I think I really also need to get rid of some more crocodiles. So I guess we have to clear up some more crocodiles here. And maybe now I'm already regretting that I haven't taken another farmer just to get rid of some more crocodiles. I think this could have been key. On the other hand, this space down here might be also great, because again, this might help us later on with I think there's a card Canal Festival or something like that, which really allows you to gain a lot of points. And I haven't seen it yet, I believe. No, it's not out yet. But this might be true for all of those. But I want to stay close to... No, I cannot go there because the senior farmer needs to be adjacent, of course. So I wasn't really thinking straight. But in this case, I guess it's easier then. So I will definitely place the senior farmer in here. So next to this space, which gives me $1 for this crocodile, which is never a bad thing. And because he's the senior farmer, I'm getting 2 wheat out of that instead of only 1 measly wheat. I take that. Okay, again, that was already my turn. I was talking way too much than the action should actually take, but really the game is typically moving very, very quickly. But now I really would have loved to simply place another farmer in here, getting rid of this crocodile, because then I would be allowed to place a settlement in here. Oh, come on, Marcus. I'm really not thinking this through straight. But okay, nothing I can do about this. I guess we are moving over to this settlement here and placing our supplier. Yes, let's do it like this. And we definitely need one more stone coming out of this. And I think for the second resource, we might go for another grape, or no, maybe more stone. No, let's go for a grape. Let's go for a grape, because I might go for the pit instead. So we have played this card here. This has given us some more resources. Then we are going to prepare our pit, and therefore we need to place some roads, which means we are going to place the 2 roads card here. This needs to be stone, and this needs to be stone, so I really don't have any choice in this case. So we have placed our we have paid our 2 stones. Again, we are getting 3 points for the roads alone, but because again we have made a direct first connection for the settlement and this building site here, that's a bonus point. So in total I'm already at 14 points. Hooray! Nicely done. And then again we are down to only 1 card left, but I think in this case we are really going to buy a card first, and that's the pit for $3. Again, we are allowed to take this into our hand. We will replenish right away. So let's see what is coming out. Oh, that's a sacrifice. Oh, that's an amazing card. That's an amazing card. I want this card. But the good thing here is, again, no one is taking this away from me. And this is also something where you are missing out a little bit in the solo mode, but all those cool opportunities where you really have to weigh in. Oh God, I really need to go there because otherwise someone is taking it away, or simply hate buy a card out of the market just to deny that card to another player, for example. That's really some of the things that you're really missing out in this case, but it's still fun. It's really a nice puzzle, and this really allows you to place 1 stone onto a building space. Cool thing is you get to permanently remove a card from your deck, and therefore you gain a victory point and $3. It's really a cool money generating card, especially in solo where cards get more and more expensive the more you buy back. This could be a cool card, but you also need to be careful not to buy too many cards. Also a big mistake. You really have to be somewhat efficient, but I'm usually the guy, when I see a cool card I want to buy it. It really doesn't matter if it really does me any good. If I feel it's cool, I go for it. And now I really start thinking about going for it too, because again, there are cool cards later, and I think the mummy also gives me some points based on the amount. Yeah, I think that's cool, and I think we can at least play this card once, twice, maybe even 3 times, getting rid of some of those farmers for some easy points and dollars, for example. Yeah, I think so. Come on, we are still here. We are spending $3 more, and we are going for this card. Of course, this also speeds the game up accordingly. So let's see what's coming out. That's the migrant farmer. Interesting. I had a rules question, and Henning from 2F-Spiele and Michael Wissner, the Michael Wissner, already responded to that. So really do appreciate it. That's a cool card because it allows you to basically move the workers around, which can be helpful in a strategic tactic way, but you also can collect some resources this way. Also a very great card, but I think for now I will not yet go for it. I think let's really start playing some cards, getting some money back, or maybe, yeah, I think so. And just to show you, I am going to play the sacrifice card here, which means I'm allowed to place my first cube onto this, and each building site tells you how many stones go there. The shape tells you what those are. Really looks very nice. Reminds me a little bit of Imhotep. And yeah, I have to remove 1 card, can be even this card if I want to, any card from my hand or my discard pile. I go for the bottommost farmer in this case, out of the game for good. Therefore, I will score a point up to 15, yeah, 10% through the game. And what's really also important, we are getting the $3 back, which the card cost me. So it already paid for itself and has given me 1 victory point, and maybe prepared some more victory points later on if I play the cards correctly. Nice. Next, we are going to play the pit. And again, the pit needs to go to a space without any crocodiles, but it needs to, or on a stone space, and it needs to be connected by a road, which this one obviously is. I need to spend 1 grain and 1 grape. I think it's grain actually. And therefore I can place one of those building sites, constructions. Let me check that. I'm pretty sure. Workshops, of course, it's a workshop. Apologies for that. We placed it here. Those are limited. I think there are 8 or so in those things, 10 actually. And we are getting 3 more points, so up to 18. And we are getting 3 more stones. I think there is a similar card in there which gives you 4 stones instead, but I'm quite happy camper with the pit here too, because we are getting some stone out of this. Nicely done. And of course the victory points too. This goes on top of my discard pile, and again I am down to 1 card in my hand. And now if I would have played my card correctly, I would have been able to really place this settlement in a very nice fashion, because with 1 more farmer I would have been good. But no, I was too greedy. I wanted to keep my money, and now I'm getting punished. That's what it is. Do I still want to play the settlement, or do I want to hold on to that? I think I'm going to pass. So we are going through another administration, which means I'm down to 1 card, and this gives me 2 more bucks. I get to remove up to 2 workers. And again, decisions. We want to keep this guy here because I really want a settlement here. So I think I might want to get rid of this guy here for sure. And maybe also, no, not this guy. We are getting rid of this guy here. So that's $2 more for that. I get my cards back. And again, the top 3 are for free. And that's now really getting the problem. The more cards you have, the more expensive it gets. So this one, I definitely want a supplier for sure. That's $1. And this one is $2 now. So you see, it's really getting expensive. If I really want to go for another farmer now, I need to spend yet another. But I think I'm really too slow. Maybe I need to go for, I think I will have to go for the migrant farmers soon, and then I don't need those guys. No, that's fine. I will hold on to that. So I spent $3. We have to remove 2 cards from the current market. And again, it's such a tough decision. This is tough. So it's either this or that. This gives me victory. So I think let's go get rid of the wheat trader. Because, yeah, it doesn't give me any victory points. Might be terribly, might be a mistake, but I really want to hold on to the homestead. I really need the migrant farmer just to get rid of some crocodiles. By the way, there is a campaign goal where you have to, I think, end the game with, I don't know how many crocodiles. Leave 10 or fewer crocodiles on wheat and grape spaces, exactly. So this is then could be a potential goal to go through, but I think overall that shouldn't be too difficult actually. No, I think not. But still, this doesn't help me right now. But I want to get rid of some more crocodiles. At least I think I have to. So it's either the expansion. Expansion only cost me 1, but again, those 2 cards go nicely together. There's something similar coming out too. I think I want to hold on to the expansion for now. Let's get rid of the expensive card for now. Again, might be a terrible mistake. I don't know. We have the Crocodile Sacrifice, also a great card. But right now I can't. Oh, I think I can actually, but for 7, I don't know. For 7, I don't know. They slide all down. So let's have a look at those 2 cards. So the town speaks for itself. You pay these 3 resources. You have to place it onto a settlement, which is not yet a town. 6 points and 2 money. And that's, I think there's also a little town, so that's already the better card actually for 1 point more. And the Crocodile Sacrifice is amazing. You place this guy onto a building site and you can remove a crocodile for 3 points. I mean, that's so easy points, and that is coming out so soon. I really should now consider to swallow my pride, yeah, and spend the $7 just to get this card, because the next card I'm getting could be a low one, and then this is basically moving back up again, maybe at least. But I think I have high cards on both sides now, so wow, I could still wait. Could really also wait for, let's say, another administration action and really hope that things are turning out so that the crocodile sacrifice is getting more or cheaper. This is really a great card for 3 points. That's a freebie. That's really a freebie for $7. I think that's definitely worth it. But I guess for today I will call it. I will definitely continue my playthrough here, so plan is really to do a full playthrough. Not sure if I will be able to complete it in my next episode. This could be maybe a series of 3 episodes or so. Hopefully that's fine for you, and I would be really interested to hear from you guys if you are rather preferring basically complete playthroughs in one video, so then might take me some time to get completed, or if that's fine for you having individual chapters or episodes for playthroughs. Would be really curious to see. I'm okay with both, seeing that I don't like too short videos. I really like, my sweet spot is really to watch stuff maybe 25-35 minutes, so in that space, so 10-minute videos, 15 minutes, I don't know, I already keep forgetting stuff. But I'm also okay with checking out longer videos, but then I will also not watch it in one go. Typically, if I see a 2-hour video, I don't really have that much time, so I have to also swallow it in pieces. So, but let me know. I would be really curious to hear from you guys. Apart from that, a huge shout out to all of my patrons out there. Really do appreciate your support. If you want to support my channel, you will find a link to my page on Patreon. You can join my community here on YouTube. Just click this little join button, and yeah, like and subscribe, everything helps. And really hope to see you soon in one of my other videos. And yeah, until then, bye bye.